The most seen ad on Meta in the past week wasn't Nike or Gymshark or Coca-Cola. It was on a sofa filmed by a couple on their iPhone, and it's done 58 million impressions in the past week alone. Today I'm ranking 15 video ads from some of the biggest e-commerce brands on Meta. I'm going to be weighing up the pros, the cons, and what I would steal from those ads as someone who's overseen a team spending over $10 million on Meta ads in this year alone. Some of these ads, like the one I just mentioned, have tens of millions of impressions and 500,000 of ad spend behind them. Whilst other ads on this list, from brands that have budgets hundreds of times bigger than the ones I mentioned, have been completely ignored by Meta and are actually getting no impressions. So I'm going to be ranking these ads, reviewing the numbers, and telling you which ones you want to take inspiration from and why. So first up, we've got the OMHU ad that I just mentioned, which is first of all, a whitelist ad. So doing this in partnership with a creator, which is immediately going to bump the score up because you want people to see ads from creators as opposed to your brand page, as that looks more authentic and natural. And I keep saying this, but people don't go on Instagram or Facebook to try and find ads. They go there to see content. They want to see people. They want to see real people talking about stuff that they find interesting. So the first line, darling, I want you to be home. It's a long distance couple, ending with them building a perfect home together. The copy never names the product, which is great. So it's top of funnel. The only job is to make you feel something about the sofa. Also, if you look deeper, we like to use Trend Track to analyze different ad accounts, but you can actually see that there's 96 versions cut from this one shoot. And that's exactly how you get 58 million impressions out of an iPhone, because you aren't just banking on the first video you shoot doing well, you're actually iterating and trying to get the best content possible and the best performance possible from each ad by testing different hooks or different clips, different angles. So this is a really good ad, and just because of how well they're testing it and the fact it's a creator ad and it's got so many impressions, I'm struggling not to put this into S. The only reason I would downgrade it is because they've missed something that has helped us scale a brand by 300% this year, which is they are sending the customers to a product page as opposed to a specific page for the ad. When you're getting 58 million impressions on an ad, it's really worth investing in a landing page that's going to convert as many of those impressions as possible. And you do that by carrying the same message from the ad to the page. If you convert these people by selling them on the emotion of building a sofa with your partner and furnishing your house and the long distance relationship, emotional aspect of it, you want to carry that over onto the landing page so that the customer feels understood from start to finish. Otherwise, the ad's going to hook them, but then you're going to lose them on the landing page. So that's why I would put this in an A, because that's really the final piece for this ad and really big room for improvement considering how many impressions they're getting and how many clicks they're likely to be getting from that ad.
Why wear flip-flops like this when they can look like this? This is the Birkenstock Ramsays. What I love is that they don't feel limited to only one type of outfit. I've been wearing them casually with my favourite denim and a vintage tee, bought some pleated shorts and a loose shirt when I'm out and about in the heat. And I've even dressed them up a bit with some linen trousers and a soft blazer. So for me, these have made flip-flops a thing of the past.
Next, we've got this Birkenstock ad. So the first line, why wear flip-flops like this when they can look like this? You've got one sandal being tested on 3 outfits by a creator. So styling content is the only fashion UGC that converts. People don't really want a review of a sandal. They kind of want to see what it's like to wear it. And doing multiple outfits in one video is good. What I really like here is if you look at the tracking link, you can see based on the naming convention and like the URL, they've labeled it awareness, which means they know who they're targeting with it and they've got a very clear like testing strategy. So that's really important and that's a really good strategy. It shows they're doing what OMH isn't. So based on that, I would bump this up to an A. And yeah, like I said, without them having the right landing page strategy, they'd be in a B. And without OMHU sending people to a generic product page, they'd be in an S. So I'd say they're sort of brought together by the fact that Birkenstock are testing different landing pages and OMHU are not. Next, we have a video from Halara. So they're a massive brand. The first line says, elastic waistband, multiple pockets, wide leg style, 4-way stretch, perfect for everyday wear. The copy says, comfy and stylish for any occasion. So I don't think this is a great ad. They're kind of just reading the product listing, just 5 features. There's no reasons or deeper emotional desires being targeted. Also, saying for any occasion is basically saying it's for no occasion. Their statics run the same sort of caption. It's a template that they're doing this across all their ads. There's not really any testing going on. So for the strategy behind this, like I would put this as low as a C. I don't think it's good at all. And yeah, I think it's a pretty weak ad overall based on that. It's been live for 223 days. It's only reached 5,000 people. For such a big brand that is estimated to be getting about 37 million site visitors a month, for Meta to still not be showing it to people, it means, it's definitely not a good ad and it's not converting. But yeah, overall, I think that's an example of what not to do in terms of the strategy behind the ad. Just listing features is just not the best use of an ad. Next, we've got one that I really like.
Dull knives ruin and mash your food, not only making it unappealing, but it affects the texture and flavour. HexClad makes the sharpest knives with the hardest blades on the market.
I really like HexClad's marketing overall. It's a brand where I believe Gordon Ramsay has a share in it, or he's a part owner. Either way, he's their main ambassador. The intro is really good. A lot of social proof, numbers. Talking about 67 layers of Damascus steel, 60 Rockwell rating. Talking about chefs everywhere switching to it is obviously a good bit of social proof as well. And hearing that from Gordon Ramsay's obviously very, very good social proof. They also have a dedicated knives landing page, not the homepage that they're sending people to. So that's, again, a bonus to do with the landing page. The only con I would say here is it relies a lot on Gordon Ramsay to be talking. Without him, it's not the best ad. And you don't have Gordon Ramsay advertising your brand, so there's not too much you can steal from that. So I was going to put it A. I'd probably put it even into B based on that, if we're talking about ads that you can take inspiration from. And yeah, I think what's better is to get real customers who've posted about your product, DM them, ask them for the rights to run their post as a partnership ad. It costs you nothing. We do it for every client, and it's taken one of our clients alone to over $1 million months. There's an interview with them on our website where whitelist ads have been such a big part of what we do. We have multiple creators posting content on their behalf in exchange for a commission, and running ads through their profiles just allows us to avoid creative fatigue, audience fatigue, and deliver much better results. Next, we've got a great ad from Paro Pet.
Most pulling dogs never stop pulling because their owners don't know these three things. Number one, most owners walk their dog on a collar or a regular harness, and every walk is teaching them to pull harder. The lead clips to the back, your dog drives forward, and they get exactly where they want it to go. They learn that pulling works every single step.
So the first line creates a lot of curiosity. It says most pulling dogs never stop pulling because their owners don't know these three things. If you've got this problem, it's pretty hard to not keep watching after hearing that. So it's kind of like an open loop at the beginning and gets you to keep listening. The copy says your dog isn't the problem, the clip position is. So there's like a very clear mechanism being explained. Mechanisms are one of the most important things you need to show in your ad. If you've got a product that solves that is a solution to a problem, you need to explain why the other solutions have failed and why yours works. So you need that clear mechanism. It closes with the pulling isn't your fault. So again, it's that forgiveness that makes you realize as a customer that you're not the problem, but actually there is a product out there that's going to solve that problem. And that sells so much better than just listing features. So yeah, overall, really, really good ad. I would put this one into S for that reason. Next, we've got an ad from Gymshark. It's silent, there's no voiceover, and there's no hook line. And the copy of our best-selling sports bras are now even better with sculpting silhouettes and new shades. Again, no real problems, no stories, no numbers. I think most people would put this one in D. I don't think there's much going for this ad. I think it's quite lazy. It's just sort of cut together a few clips of the product. There's just nothing really going on. You're never going to convert a top-of-funnel customer with that. Maybe a few people who've bought from you already that just like the look of it will buy, but it's very lazy and unconvincing. That said, Gymshark's audience probably already own a few pairs of leggings from them and other sports items, so it is a good nudge for their most away buyer. But again, it's lazy. Like it can do more. So like whilst this might convert some people, the only reason this would work is because it's from Gymshark. Like there's nothing really being done extra. So yeah, I personally don't think there's really anything going for this ad and any reason to put it in a higher tier. Next, we've got a video from Stanley. So this is a cup brand, and again, music only, no audio, feels a bit lazy. The copy probably works for what they're doing. They're very, very aesthetic and visual and trend-based brand. So the copy talking about there being fresh colors, playful patterns. There's a bit of urgency saying it's here for spring only. These things are all okay. It must be converting well because it's long past spring now. If they still have it live, I imagine it's been converting. However, this particular version that I'm looking at in Trend Track only has 5,000 reach. So maybe other versions of the ad are converting and that's why they've left it live. Otherwise, that's a big miss from them to be running a spring ad in August that isn't getting any reach. So yeah, overall, I would say there's just not very much going for this. I'll probably put this one, probably C, to be honest. It's not got much going. It's a little bit better than the Gymshark ad. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think there's much going for it. Next, we've got Blume Baby.
Okay, these are freaking genius. No more meltdowns at the pool this year because the goggles are ripping their hair out because we have clip-on ones now. And
So I like this one. So it's advertising the kids' goggles. First line says, okay, these are freaking genius. So it's a decent enough hook. It's not targeting any emotional desires, but it's quite overall engaging, good visuals, the colors pop. And so, yeah, I think the hook's decent. The copy about leaks, hair pulling, foggy lenses, red marks, it's covering a lot of pain points that the parents, in probably the exact words that the parents would use. So, and it's doing that before the product appears. So I think that's a really strong way to lead an ad, really targeting those pain points. And it's what we try and do with our ads. So I think that's a lot of positives to take just from that copy alone. They have 157 versions of this ad that they've tested, with 7 of them still being live after 400 days. So that's really fantastic. Like, that means it's not luck. That means they really do have like a testing machine going on. Good additions at the end, 90-day risk-free. It's a long guarantee. Yeah, overall, very solid. The only thing I can pick on it, really, to demote it to an A, would be that it says buy one, get one free, ends today, but we know they've been testing versions of this ad for 410 days. On existing customers or just people who've already seen the ad, they'll start trusting the brand less, and that urgency will kind of go once they see this repeatedly talked about. So it kind of burns that urgency long term and means that you can get customer fatigue a bit quicker. So I'm going to put this, yeah, as I said, into A, because that's really the only downside for that video. So before we go into the second half of the video, I want to touch on why I think Blume's testing cadence is one of the best things I've seen in this video so far, because they're testing 157 versions of an ad, and that's the part that you can steal right now. What we do with most of our clients, and to pick an example with this sauna brand, we took them from 10,000 a month to 265,000 a month at a 19x ROAS. It's by having a testing machine that allows you to iterate and improve on all of your ad concepts. Most of what we did for Fit Sauna was simply just cutting their versions of their ads into different concepts and trying different hooks and angles and trying to make the same winning ad appeal to as many audiences and avatars as possible, so that we can target different stages of the awareness funnel, different avatars, and just really extract as much from that ad as possible. If you're just sort of trying a bunch of different ads on their own and not really iterating on them, you're kind of gambling, okay, this one will work and then eventually it dies out, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work, then maybe this one works, and then it dies out. You're not really giving yourself the foundations to build on. You really need that testing machine to be able to be like, okay, these 3 ads worked, let's compound on them. Let's make 10 versions of those. Now we've got 30 winning ads, and then we keep going on that, and then we're trying different audiences, avatars, angles. That's the way to scale. You really need to have that system and that foundation. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter how good your creatives are. They're going to burn out eventually, and you're going to get creative fatigue and audience fatigue. So yeah, that really is the secret. And that's, aside from the whitelisting ads, the most useful thing you can take from this video so far is looking at the testing structure that brands like Blume have right now. Okay, so next we have AG1 X Hugh Jackman. So similar to what I mentioned earlier with the Gordon Ramsay ad, I think this relies quite a lot on the celebrity aspect of it. I think it's a bit worse than the Gordon Ramsay ad. I think it's too much just milking the fact that they've got Hugh Jackman. It's not doing too much to talk about the product or the benefits. There's decent trust built by talking about 5 years in the first line, but a celebrity trying something doesn't really mean anything. There needs to be a bit more done to explain why the product's so good. You know, people really want to see real customers benefiting from it. So I do think AG1's other ads, where they use real creators, are where the money is for them. And that actually brings me on to the next ad, where you will see how much better their ads are when they use real customers through whitelist ads. So the Hugh Jackman one I'll put in C, but moving on to the next one, you'll see why I said what I said for the Hugh Jackman ad.
Traveling as a coach and a parent usually means you're so focused on making sure that everyone else is having a perfect summer that you completely forget to look after your own energy.
So here, same offer from AG1. They're running from a fitness coach's page. And the first line, traveling as a coach and a parent, usually means you're so focused and making sure. That is so much more relatable. People aren't going to relate to Hugh Jackman, but a lot of people are going to relate to being a coach or a parent. So you've got a very clear avatar, very clear situation, a busy parent who travels, and that's who's really going to be buying the product at the end of the day. The caption as their best line, talking about daily nutrient insurance. It's a very clear mechanism, and it's what separates them from every other greens powder that's on Amazon. The only con is that the caption is very much their sort of template, and it kind of, you know, they reuse that quite a lot. But as an ad, like, definitely a lot better than the Hugh Jackman one from the same brand. I'd probably give this like an A-, put this into the A category, just because it's a really perfect use of creator ads. Next, we've got Swift. Sofa brand. I quite like the ad. The catalog video is the right idea for a furniture range. It's been live for 706 days, but it's only got 5,000 impressions. So I don't know why that's still live. Like, it shows they're not really testing as well as they should be. There's also no audio hook, so that's quite a big con. Like, I'm really big on ads doing everything to stop the scroll, and, you know, you might as well use every method available to capture attention at the beginning of an ad. I'll probably put this one in a B, because visually it's nice, but it's not really following a lot of the sort of principles that we like to follow with our ads. Next up, we've got Dr. Squatch.
That soap you rub on your balls every morning, it has a secret, and it's not a good one. It doesn't even say soap on the box, does it? Maybe body bar or cleansing bar, because what most guys call soap isn't really soap the way it used to be.
Really good ad. The first line, that soap you rub on your balls every morning, it has a secret, and it's not a good one. Obviously funny and catchy opening line. It makes you likely to listen if you've never heard of the brand before. It's good for top of funnel. It's probably the best spoken hook in this list. As I said, it's an open loop. It creates curiosity, creates an enemy as well, you know, kind of throws shade at the other products that they're competing against. I like that it's a bundle because that increases the average order value. And it's also got a very trending theme and style throughout. When we worked with Fatworks over the last 5 years, one of the main things we did with them was increase the average order value from $76 to $300. So your bundle really is massive to raise the order value. So that's a really big pro, and why I would put this ad into A tier.
This blush literally adapts to your skin tone to give you the perfect shade. This is a feature of innovative makeup. Say goodbye to shade matching stress and stop wasting money on colors that don't flatter you.
So this ad from Wonder Skin, there's a few things I don't like about it. First of all, something I haven't touched on yet is just the repetition of overused words in the UGC and creator space. The word literally, I just think it's too overused, and that's the first thing. The other thing, there's no real deeper desires or pain points early on in this video, so there's not much being done to capture the customer watching the video. The caption also is a bit of a lab report. Nobody buying blush would say pH out loud, like it's just, you know, a bit too scientific, and it's not like, compared to targeting pain points, it's just never going to convert as well. It's not targeting any emotion or desire. Whereas with products like this, there is so much opportunity to target desires, insecurities, pain points. So that's a real missed opportunity. This ad's clearly not performing well because there's 10 versions of it with only one left. And that one that's left has had very low reach in the last 2 weeks. So the concept's clearly dead, and they're just sort of trying to keep it going for no real reason. So I'll put this one into D because of sort of, yeah, the lack of organization in that account. Next, we've got Jones Road Beauty.
I don't want to wear foundation every day, so I do this instead. Okay, so hear me out. Traditional makeup, out for 2025. Powders, they're dry and cakey. Foundation, flat, and it makes my skin look not great.
They have an ad for their Miracle Balm. It's been live for 560 days, this concept, so suggests it's doing really well. They have tested over 140 versions of it in a year and a half. So this is clearly a winner. It's got a very solid controversial hook saying, I don't want to wear foundation every day, so I do this instead. That clearly targets a pain point and clearly relates to the target customer. So that's really, really good. The caption saying Miracle Balm is truly a miracle, it's a bit product first. It would be cool for them to have, for the caption to be as good as the opening line is, where they talk about not wanting to wear foundation every day and actually target a desire. And I would take the performance with a small pinch of salt, because I think the landing page is doing a lot of carrying because they get a gift with their purchase. So it could well be that the offer is what's carrying this ad, as opposed to the ad itself and the creative. But it must obviously be doing somewhat well if 140 versions tested and they've been live for a year and a half. So overall, I'll put this one into B tier. And finally, we've got an ad from TentBox.
Have you seen these popping up everywhere lately? They're called tent boxes, and yes, they literally pop open into a bedroom on your car roof. You get a ladder to climb in, a comfy mattress inside, and it stays on your roof.
First line says, have you seen these popping up everywhere lately? That hook really plays on the familiarity that people probably have with these tents if they've seen them before. And it kind of turns every other car park into an ad for them, because people will start thinking of them when they, you know, think about these popping up everywhere. I really like how their button says use our car checker. So it's not a product page, instead it's a tool. So it's a lot more interactive and a lot more of a seamless customer journey, as opposed to just trying to go and sell to them. The landing page also answers the objection that the ad created. So yeah, really good, really good ad overall. And I don't really have any cons for this ad. It's kind of a perfect example of how an ad and a landing page should work together. So yeah, really solid ad. And I'll probably put this one in S to round off the video. So yeah, I mean, look at the top row, look at C and D, some really big brands, Gymshark and AG1 quite low down, which shows you don't really need the biggest budget to make amazing ads. You just need to follow some core principles that I mentioned in this video. Congruency from ad to landing page, whitelist creator ads to build trust with your audience, and then speak to your customers' deepest desires, target different avatars, and you'll be in a much stronger position than a lot of these big brands are, because a lot of them aren't following these simple principles. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing the same thing, but with 15 static ads instead, and showing you some of the statics that the biggest brands are running, some of the best and the worst ones, and I'm going to be ranking them. In the meantime, if you want your ads library audited, my team and I do the most comprehensive audit in the e-commerce space, where we get on a call, get access to your ad account, check out exactly what you're doing, find all the technical improvements, find all the improvements to your creative system. We do a really in-depth report that shows you everything you can improve on, to the point you could literally go and implement it yourself. We do it because we show brands what we can do, and many of them go on to work with us. But it's fully no obligation. You can just leave the call with that audit and implement it yourself. It takes us about a week to implement, and you can then spend many months reaping the rewards from it. So go ahead and book a call in the link below if you want our team to do that for you. Otherwise, see you in the next video where, as I say, I'll be reviewing the statics.